All right. So
let me know when you're ready, Pam.
All right. I need these headphones?
Yep.
I do need them. Okay.
You ready?
Sean,
let me know when you're ready.
Can you come over a little bit? We can do both at the same time here. Okay, we're ready.
Oh, you're online.
Hey, this is Pam Perry. We are here with the Inaugural Speakers Magazine podcast, and we're also on Facebook Live. But I wanted to just tell you a little bit about speakers on WGOD, Praise Up and Listen. So if you're not familiar with Praise Up and Listen, speakers is all about really promoting positive messages and really about giving praise, because that's really the key to longevity. That's why we're here. So I'm the publisher of Speakers Magazine. It'll be a year in June. This podcast has been something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. The timing is right. It's hot here in the studio, and this going to mean it's going to be a hot show. I'm here with my guest, Sean Fair. So if you're not familiar with speakers, our first issue actually had George Fraser on the cover, who celebrated his 73rd birthday yesterday. Shout out to George Fraser. Hey, George. So he is the one that we call the master speaker. Then we came up right behind George with Dr. Missy Johnson. Dr. Missy Johnson was our speaker in July, and she is a lady that we call the breakthrough coach. She has broke through so many different things that is unbelievable. So we're going to have her in the studio soon. Then right after we had Dr. Missy, we had an issue that Arian Simone was on. And within that issue was Sean Fair, and that's who we have today. Sean Fair, I'll read you a little bit about Sean. He is electrifying, okay? Hey, whoever just joined us. He is electrifying and a dynamic leadership speaker. He's from Detroit. He's from this area. But he's a corporate leadership, consultative sale, and vision expert, okay? He has been seeing the world leader. He has seen the word leadership defined numerous ways over the years, but he characterized leadership in 5 words. Lead by example, trustworthiness, mutual respect, and praise. He has a unique ability to bring leaders of all levels, which is key, to the realization that their team's performance is largely dependent upon their ability to lead. See the word lead in there a lot. With over 2 decades of motivational speaking, training, executive coaching, and most importantly, real life in the trenches business experience, not fake, but real life, Sean's knowledge and delivery styles places him among the best leadership and vision speakers in the country. He just returned back from Vegas, too. He's going to be telling us about what's going on. His presentations are dynamic, thought-provoking, engaging, and inspires his audience to make immediate changes that promote employee development, growth and expansion, and their team's capacity. So that's what we're going to be talking about. He is really one of the best, brings out the best of the leaders. He's doing it, done it on big stages such as Rio Grande Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Soundboard Room in Motor City, Casino in Detroit. But no matter where he goes, leader always asks for more. So if you want more information, you could go to fairconsultinggroup.com. But even more than that, we have Sean here. Yay! Get some applause.
Thank you, Pam. I really appreciate it.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for joining us today on our inaugural show. So this is his first, he was in speakers in September. And so one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit here is what he has, what brought him into the field, and then what he has going on coming up.
Well, back in 1996, I got to take you back a little bit, but I started off in customer service. And from there, I'm going to just take you real quick through my experience. Customer service to account manager, from account manager to sales manager, from sales manager to state director, from state director to VP to VP to VP of sales and marketing. And then from there, I transferred into training programs and training organizations. So I got a job working for a T-Mobile dealer. They were the largest dealer in the country at the time with 435 locations. And I was the director of training there for 5 years. I was over at AT&T for 5 years at a training executive level. And then I went to an international restoration company for 5 years, and I was a training executive there. Mm-hmm. And through that experience, I was presenting on big stages and conferences all the time, and people would always say, "Hey, Sean, can you come and do this for us?" And of course, these were clients for the company, so I couldn't take those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so it comes a time in your life where you have a crossroad,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make that leap. And so finally, I made that leap of faith, and here I am. It's been going well ever since.
Oh, good, good. Now you hear one of the key things that people were telling him that he needed to do that. It wasn't like, oh, I really want to get in front of the stage. I want to get in front of people. I want to speak. But it was a push. So a lot of times we think we have something in our heart. It's like, should I? But when you get that confirmation, when people tell you, that's when you know. You see how we're kind of sparkling here, right, on the
I noticed that.
But one of the things that you had real life training in terms of sales training, customer service. So tell me a little bit how leadership really became like the epiphany of really that's what you're teaching and training on.
It really it became it's a gift, to be honest with you. Through all of the experiences and all of the executive level positions, even the mid-level management positions, I've learned how to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to understand people. I understand, what challenges that they have. And, the one thing that's come to mind is that people don't understand the weight of leadership. When you have a management position, it means that you need to understand people. It means that you need to coach people. It means that you need to develop people. It means that you need to counsel people. It means that you need to diagnose people. It means that you have to come up with solutions. And you cannot, if you are a great manager, you cannot do this job from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, because typically you are focused more on the functionality of your job from 9 to 5 and not managing people.
It sounds like a little bit, Sean, like you've got to be a little bit of a psychiatrist or a little bit of a therapist in a way.
Oh, absolutely. So if you don't like working with people and you don't like people, then you're probably in the wrong business, right? And at the end of the day, when you took the job to become a manager, or when I took the job to become a manager, I decided to become a part of the people business. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't like people, you're probably in the wrong business.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about your position now that you have Fair Consulting Group. And you took the leap from corporate, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm going to have to not have that paycheck, that steady paycheck. So everyone who wants to be a speaker, they're like, I have this job, it's a security, and this is really like, this is my security. So how did you really decide to make the leap? I know you said you took the leap, but how did you know for sure that Fair Consulting Group was something that that you could do? Did you start out with a contract right away? Did you have people lined up for 6 months that said you would speak? Did you build a website first? How did you make that pivot from your company, from your corporate to your company?
Well, I started working slowly, right? When I was working for corporations, I was slowly building the business, right? I built a website, I got my business cards, I started doing free events on the weekend at University of Michigan. I would just invite people and just talk about leadership.
Okay, let's stop right there. Did he say free events?
So
a lot of times people will want to say, well, I'm not going to quit my job unless I get paid engagements. So he really was doing free events, and then explain to us about the free events. And it wasn't like a small stage, it was U of M, so that's pretty big. So kind of explain to us how the free events work into the whole master plan of that.
The whole plan is bringing a massive amount of people in. And when I say massive amount, it could be 50 to 100. It depends on what your definition of massive is. If you are really good at what you do and you can get in front of people, they'll recognize your talent. Mm-hmm. And when they find value in you, all of a sudden they say, well, man, I would love to have this person in my life. Now, at that point, that's when you can start to charge people, right? Because they understand the weight and the value that you bring to the table. Mm-hmm. But if you don't get in front of people, people don't understand what you have to offer.
So it's kind of like you use the being on the stage as your marketing tool.
Absolutely.
So in order for you to get on the stage, you had to have some juice in the first place anyway, whether it was free or paid. So your juice was your website, you had testimonials
and videos.
You had video,
and that's a big key.
It's
having some short, doesn't have to be long video work, but 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute clips is really important.
That's one of the things that we talked about in the last issue, why every speaker should have a sizzle reel. And your sizzle reel is on Speakers Magazine right now.
Oh,
it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's on there. I mean, you were one of the few that had them, so that's why you're the first guest. You did everything right. So you're kind of like the classic book of like what to do right as a speaker. But if you go to speakersmagazine.net, you'll see Sean Fair. You look him up and you'll see his sizzle reel and you'll see his bio and everything in his pictures. So tell me a little bit more about some of the branding things that you did. I know you were in sales and you were in customer service, but so how did you learn to, I guess you say, market your business?
I learned from the corporations.
Okay.
You know, I paid close attention while I was in business, and that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
All the companies, they brought something to the table. They brought some value into my life, and so I would pick up small things that they were doing, and I would incorporate it into things that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The branding piece, when you're a speaker, it's really, you are the brand.
Right.
And
right.
so in every interaction that I had with people, every time that I presented something, I had someone taking video footage. My video guy's name is Larry Miller, and pretty much wherever I go,
Larry's there.
he goes.
Okay,
Right? So
all right.
it's unlimited footage.
No intern.
We store it. We store it on shared drive on
Larry's a
Google.
professional.
Yeah, he's a professional.
Right, no
And-
interns. Don't say, well, it's an intern. No,
And we-
professional.
We find some inexpensive ways to create these reels that you're talking about, these promo reels. It's all about getting your face out there, and social media is a great way to bring awareness to who you are and what it is that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And sending out posts, once a day, sometimes 2 times a day, it's a great way for people to see you. Sometimes I'll walk into a Starbucks or just anywhere, and I'll have people just, hey, I know you. Or I read your book. I haven't wrote a book, but they've seen and they read the post, but they think I've wrote a book.
Okay.
Right? But it's bringing that kind of awareness to the marketplace.
So if you are just joining us, we're with Sean Fair with Fair Consulting Group. I'm Pam Perry with Speakers Magazine Podcast. This is our very first show, inaugural show. And we have our producer sitting over there, and also our graphics creative director, Miles Dixon, the mediapreneur. We're on WGOD, WGOD.net if you want to catch us live there as well. But we're also on Facebook Live on the speakers page. So make sure that you like us so that you will be here every Wednesday from noon to 1. Coming up at 12:30, we'll have Tamara Hartley, who's joining us from Columbus, Ohio. But I want to make sure that the Detroit people know, or even Detroit, Ohio, and Illinois, what Sean Fair has coming up and his partnership that he has with Imagine Theater.
Right, so we have a huge partnership with Imagine Theaters. Our first event is going to be on May 8th, which is next Tuesday. It's going to start at 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. And during that time, we're going to talk about leadership. You're going to understand what leadership is really all about. People are always asking the question, the people that I manage, should they like you? And most people will give you this answer. They shouldn't like me, Sean. They just need to respect me. Mm-hmm. And I always come back and say something like this. Well, if I have to come to work with someone that I don't like every single day, or someone that I antagonize every single day, what kind of environment is that? Right, so we're going to help people reflect on a lot of things that they really don't think about. We're going to talk about the 5 critical attributes of a leader. And I'm going to break them down, lead by example, praise, trustworthiness, mutual respect, and experience. I'm going to talk about exactly what they mean. I'm going to also talk about the millennial generation, because most of the managers, they don't understand how to work with the millennials. And the millennials have a bad reputation for the most part, but they really don't. They're resourceful, and they're folks that we really need in the workplace. I'm going to explain to them why. I'm going to talk about from the time that they were born all the way to the time they get into the workplace, and the difference between us and them, Gen Xers and Boomers. Once they hear the difference between us and them, they start to say, you know what, I never thought about it like that. But at the end of the day, they are the second largest economy in the country. They're 30% of the workforce right now. By 2020, they'll be 50% of the workforce, and by 2025, they'll be 70% of the workforce. So their way of thinking, the way that they do things, is going to be the dominant way of life in the next 7 to 10 years. So businesses are not conforming to the millennial generation over the next 10 to 15 years. They can find themselves out of business. So we're going to talk about that. So
give me something that's, I have a millennial that's graduating on Friday from Michigan State University. So give me one thing that, as a baby boomer, how to manage a millennial. Shout out to Aubrey Perry. Hey, go green.
Well, one, you have to listen to them.
Okay.
Most Gen X parents have done a really, really bad job at listening to them. Not that we cut them off, but many times when they talk, it's a bunch of nonsense, at least in our minds. Because you have to understand that at the age of 7, on average, they all had something in their hands that we didn't have in our hands, and that was the cell phone.
That's true.
Right, and so our influences as a Gen Xers was mom, dad, sometimes sister, brother, teacher, pastor, and they have those same influences, but those were secondary influences.
Wow.
The primary influences for them was Facebook, Twitter, Google, and all these different social media sites that was pushing information to them, which typically that information was what? Bad information. But those resources for them, those influences for them, those are real influences for them. Just like mom and dad was for us. So sometimes when we give them our life experiences, they're getting the information from somewhere else and they don't understand what's real and what's not, and they struggle with that. So what I do with a lot of millennials is this: I listen to what they have to say, and if they say something great, I'll let them know, man, you said something great. This is awesome. But if I disagree, I'm not quick to disagree. What I will do is say, you know what? I'm not sure if I totally agree with you. Let me do some research first. I'll go online, grab some information that supports what it is that I want to deliver to that millennial, and then give it to them. Because that's what they're going to do anyway.
Okay.
But if you allow them to research the information, they're going to research it to their benefit. If you research the information, they say, you know what? They actually took the time, they went to Google, and this resonates with them.
That's a good tip. That is a really good tip, because I did not realize that, because that is for sure. Because I would just say to a millennial, no, do it this way, this is the way it's done from my experience, blah, blah, blah. But if you give them that information in the link or a website, I guess they'll probably pay more attention to that. So that is good. So how do people how do people register for your event, or actually do you have any tickets left, first of all?
We have about 10 tickets left, I believe.
Okay.
Right, so
the last 10.
If you go to www.fairconsultinggroup.com, that's F as in Frank, AIR, consultinggroup.com. On the very first page, on the banner, there is a button that you can click on. It'll take you right to the Eventbrite, and you can register. The tickets are $50. We also have an after-party networking event that's from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the High Roller Room in Imagine Theaters. We're going to be serving food, we're going to be taking pictures, we're going to be shooting videos, we're going to be doing interviews. There's going to be a great event, going to be some great people. There's going to be a lot of great networking there, so you don't want to miss that.
How did you come about with the idea to do the partnership with?
Well, Imagine had been following me for some time.
Okay.
And at the time I was in
on
Dallas.
Social media?
On social media.
Okay.
And I got a call from the business director and said, listen, we're in the Shine Fair business. We want to know if we can sit down and talk to you.
Okay.
And,
wow.
We sat down and talked, and we came up with a great agreement. They've been wonderful to work with. The theater is absolutely amazing. And it's going to be a great show. We're going to have about 7 to 8 cameras going, capturing every single angle. It's going to be a great time. And by the way, I'm the primary speaker, but we also have Joy Calloway, who's a dynamic speaker. She's going to be there. She's going to kick it off for us for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then right in the middle, we have Cam Anthony, 17-year-old superstar. Right, he's on Showtime at the Apollo right now. You can watch him right now.
Okay.
He will be there to tell folks about his vision and how he is executing his vision right now. And then we have Katie Balish, who has worked for Vaughn Industries. She's the CEO of Vaughn Industries.
Okay.
She's been slated for the top 50 companies to watch in Michigan. So she's going to be there, and she's going to wrap us up.
Oh, good, good. So it's from 9 to 2 at Imagine in Royal Oak?
It's 9 to 1 is the first event. The networking event starts from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m.
Okay, and that's in Royal Oak?
And that's in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Okay.
Right, Imagine Theaters.
Okay, and so people go to fairconsultinggroup.com. Register there. Make sure you get on his email list, because you do have an email list that people can subscribe to, so they can know what else is going on. Do you have anything else coming up this summer, or things that we can get involved in to see you speak, or even if it's not your event that you're doing, but something that we can come and actually...
Absolutely. We're doing another event with Imagine, and actually the date, we're actually coming up with the dates today.
Okay. All right.
That's where I'm going next.
So you got to make sure you get on that email list. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. And then make sure that you get on Speakers Magazine email list too, so we can let you know what kind of guests are coming up on the podcast, so that you can actually know about what's coming up there. And then Miles, are we almost at 12:21? Okay, so Tamir Hartley will be coming up next, so we are kind of like a little bit early. So I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions about your background, and more or less like really like the speaking industry. So first of all, if you were going to write a book, and you said you haven't had one, but I'm sure you probably have one in mind. What would that book be, or if you want to give us a little pre-promotion about what it's about?
I'm in the process now of developing a book. It's Who's Talking Louder. It's a sales book.
Okay.
And it is teaching people the art of selling. And it's not about you telling folks that they need your product. It's about you asking the right questions to help them come to the realization that they need your product. Right? Because if they don't understand that they need it, then it's you telling them that they need something and them thinking that they don't, and then this is what you get, right? They're butting heads with each other. And so asking the right questions is an art. It's the same way that we need to train and develop people, is by asking questions. A lot of times we tell folks what to do all the time, and then they become dependent upon you telling them what to do. But then when you don't tell them to do it, then you wonder why stuff is not getting done. The question becomes, well, did you tell them? Right? So the way that you develop people is by asking questions, because it gets them to do what? To think. And that's what we really pride ourselves in. And it's a consultative sales approach. We kind of transfer that into the management style.
So this sales thing, people kind of like don't like sales because they feel salesy. They feel like it's slimy. So sales is everything. My daughter graduates from Michigan State on Friday, and one of the things that I tell her is that even though you have an advertising degree, I think your first job should be in sales. And sales is one of those things where you have to sell ideas. If you have children, you got to sell them on eating the right food. I mean, you have to sell everything. I've seen the parents. I have to sell them that, you got to move from this house to that house. So you have to sell all the time. So kind of explain the whole thing, the negativity that people have around sales, and then why people need to really embrace sales. Because if nothing sells, you're not in business.
It's negative because salespeople sell people things that people don't need. That's why it's negative. Or they do a bad job of helping them understand why they need it. And it goes back to what I was telling you before, is that when you tell someone that they need something, but you haven't helped them understand that there's a problem that they need to fix, then why is it that you need this product?
Okay.
So if you really want to be a great salesperson, number one, you have to create the need first. And then once you understand what the problem is, then you have to help them understand by asking the right questions. How does this problem affect their time? How much money is being lost because of this problem? Or how does it affect me emotionally, right? Frustration. How does it affect me that way? Because if you help a person understand, well, there's a problem, but I'm losing X amount of dollars because of it, and now I'm wasting amount of time because of it, or what I'm dealing with this issue is I'm frustrated for a period of time, then all of a sudden you create urgency for them to want to move on buying that service. Sometimes just finding the problem is not enough.
Okay. So by finding the problem say it's something that I have a problem with for me. People come to me because, I need more publicity, I need more exposure. So they know that's the problem, but then you have to really match your questions on the personality of the potential customer. Like someone that says, well, I just need information, just send it to me in a PDF. Or someone says, well, I want you to sit down and really explain to me. Or someone else will say, I really want you to give me more examples. I want to hear from other people. I mean, there's different personalities want information explained to them differently. I can ask the same questions, but not knowing their personality, they may not even really.
Yeah.
Okay.
It even goes deeper than personality, because now you have these different generations. So if I'm in front of a boomer, it's important that I'm asking questions, but I'm asking questions in the form of advice.
Okay.
Because the boomers have been around for a long time. They're the ones with all of the experience, and they like to give advice. So I may ask a question this way. Well, I was just wondering, what was your thoughts on doing things like this? All of a sudden, they feel like they're giving you advice, and then the floodgate opens up. See, if you have a sales meeting and you're 80% of the conversation, it's going to be a bad meeting. If you're 20%, which means you're asking questions and they're doing all the talking, all of a sudden they start to talk about things that they didn't even think about, and now you're just taking great notes, right?
Okay.
You're listening and hearing becomes a great tool for you, a great skill for you, if you're asking the right questions. And if you have time, I can give you a quick example, because you said it best. Selling applies to every aspect of your life. This one college basketball team called me, and I won't name the name.
Okay.
And this basketball team, they had a bad attitude because the media was on their case and the fans were on their case because they were been losing for the last 2 years. The coaches couldn't get through, and so they asked me to come in and talk to them. I could just say, you guys got a bad attitude, you need to change it, otherwise you're not going to get better. But let me ask you a few questions. really quick. What's the most important number to you guys? You know what they said? Their jersey. My second question is I can understand that. The second question was, what is the average number in a family that come watch you guys play? The answer was, you know what? I don't know. I says that number is 4. What's the average amount of revenue that they spend on tickets to come watch you guys play? The answer was, I don't know. I says that number is 127. What's the average amount that they spend at the concession stand, that family of 4, when they come watch you guys play? They said, I don't know. I said that number is 76. What's the average amount of money that they spend at the store buying your hats, your jerseys, and those kinds of things? They didn't know the answer to that. I said that number is $125. So my question to you guys is, why do you guys have a problem when someone is purchasing a product that don't work? See, my job is to help people come to the realization that their thought process is incorrect. Now I could have said, you know what, you're wrong, and they still think that they're right. Nothing is being solved. But asking the right questions allows us to get the new thing.
I like that. So I would say if you don't know your numbers, you're not in business. So they didn't know how much people spend on the concession, the tickets, or any of that. That's probably why they're having trouble trying to. It seems like they don't care about their customer.
Well, not only that, the point is that, of course they're upset if they're spending this kind of money to watch a product because they think that they're just people. They're a product that doesn't work. Wouldn't you be upset? If you went to the store, the appliance store, and bought a refrigerator for $1,000, and you took it home, you plugged it into the socket, and it didn't work, would you be upset about it?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what's happening to you.
Okay. Sean, you're absolutely fabulous. So when you were doing something at the Rio Grande Casino in Las Vegas, tell me a little bit about what that was about. And was that like one of your first customers, or?
No, it was a huge conference,
and
I was asked to come in to speak on leadership.
Okay.
Right. It was in the restoration industry, and they came from all over the world, and I gave them a whole spiel on what leadership was all about. Very similar to what I'm going to talk about here at the Magic Theater.
When you say the restoration industry, so it's like restoring homes,
Well, actually, you have a fire or flood in your home. They have companies that come out and grab the clothes and they restore the clothes back to the original condition.
I didn't know that.
So as long as the clothes are not burnt, it can be water, soot, mud, doesn't matter. They can restore those clothes. See, back in the day, they would just give you a check. The insurance company would give you a check and say, go replace those clothes. They don't do that anymore. They have restoration companies that save the insurance carrier 70 cents on the dollar, replacement versus restoration costs.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. I thought if there was a fire or flood, especially all the people that have the floods or whatever, they give you a check. But there's someone that restores.
Yes. And they do a very good job.
Yeah, because you saw my face looking like, I don't know, it's going to be, especially if it's like, it's going to smell like smoke, or, but no, they do that. And so leadership is in every single part of our lives. So you're leading at work, you're leading at home, you're leading, corporations, schools. So what is your favorite, I guess you'd say, your favorite part of talking about leadership in terms of a demo? Who do you like talking to leadership about, or to, I guess you would say, your favorite demo or your ideal client, I guess you would say?
I don't have an ideal client.
Not sports
I'll
or
be
not
honest with you, because people is people.
Okay.
I have some clients that they're farm. H&A Farm is one of my clients. They raise 250,000 pigs. That's what they do. I have ABB Robotics. They make robots, right? So it doesn't matter, because leading and managing people is a universal language.
Okay.
It's a universal language.
And so in terms of the products and things that you have, you're going to have a book that's going to be coming out. It's on sales. And then you have other products and things like that you do as well besides speaking? Right.
Well, at the Imagine Theaters, this is going to actually be a movie that's going to be put on CD. Right?
How did I know that?
And we're going to be selling that.
Smart guy. If I were you, I would follow him. I kind of knew that he has other products besides, because he can't speak everywhere. He can't go every single place all over the world all the time. So he's going to have some actual digital products that you'll be selling as well. All right. And then the book. So if you can't get them live, you can actually get them on tape, or you can hear them on this podcast again and play this over and over. Make sure you share this particular one. Go to Fair Consulting Group, get on his email list, go to speakersmagazine.net and get on our list as well. And I think Miles is teeing up our next guest right now, Tamara Hartley. Okay, all right. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners or Facebook group people? And make sure you share it and all that kind of stuff.
Listen, there's a few tickets left. Go and sign up. I promise you that you'll be engaged for 4 hours, and you will reflect for 4 hours. It will be one of the best trainings that you've ever gone to. So we look forward to seeing you there.
All right, cool. So make sure that you do that. Don't get left out. Don't be thinking that we didn't tell you. All right. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. That is Sean Fair. Go to Fair Consulting Group, Fair, F-A-I-R, fairconsultinggroup.com. If you listen to the podcast and you can't actually see the page. But I just want you to make sure that you do that. And he has other things coming up as well. So we have Tamara Hartley coming up. Is she there? Yes. All right. Hey. I am doing wonderful. Can you see us on Facebook Live on the speakers page? We're live right now, but you're not live, but actually we are live. All right. So I'm going to read a little bit about who our next guest is. I didn't do this one. Yeah, you're not good. Yeah, because I don't want you to have the flowers on your head like this. This is not a good look for you.
Yes.
All right. So your advice guru and how-to coach. I'm so excited to have this young lady. This is Tamara Hartley, and she is coming from us from Ohio. Many people have goals, dreams, and big ideas, but remain stuck because they are unsure about what to do, where to start, and how to make it happen. Well, through her speaking, coaching, weekly advice column, podcast, and YouTube channel, Tamara helps people do the how, to make the necessary action steps to make their dreams a reality. Because you hear people say, I want it. No, she's going to show you how to do it. Thank you. While inspiration and motivation are part of her process, Tamara specializes in activation, yes, and helping others take action to accomplish their goals. Based on proven results, her clients have dubbed her the how-to coach. So she's a keynote speaker. Tamara Hartley has addressed women, professionals, entrepreneurs across the country, and has served as the opening speaker for the world's leading motivational speaker, Les Brown, which was our cover story this month for speakers. So Tamara creatively combines her knowledge, expertise, life experiences, practical wisdom, and funny insights and anecdotes to inspire others to take action and achieve personal success. She can tailor a variety of speaking topics and programs around her core message, which is you have the power to change your life to meet an organization's needs and interests. And Les Brown said, Tamara Hartley makes great impact, and great impact grows your bottom line. She's the best. Okay, that is what Les said. So if you want to find out more information about her, definitely make sure that you go to tamarahartley.com, TamaraHartley. All right. And so with that, I welcome you, Miss. How are you? Okay. So Tamara like a camera. Tamara like a camera. Tia and Tamara. Mm-hmm. And you know, my sister-in-law's name is Tamara. So anyway, so here I go again. You know, we did that when we were at the event in Florida. So it's like, okay, Tia and Tamara. So let me get it, Tamara, like camera. Camera. Okay, Tamara. All right. Yes. So did I just totally flub at the entire bio? So I apologize. That is, if you can see Facebook Live right now, you got flowers over your head too as well. So tell us a little bit about your illustrious creative career. Miles Dixon, he is a creative entrepreneur as well. So kind of tell us a little bit about yours and how you got into the speaking and being dubbed your advice guru and how-to coach, because people would love to hear this story, because I know you from way back when you had other things that you were doing. Okay, okay. So your background primarily, though, Tamara, was creative director for different organizations. Kind of give us a little bit of that background. Mm-hmm. 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 So is that when you met Les Brown, or was that before then? Hmm. Oh my God. Oh, good, good. Yeah. So you were responsible. Right. Now he's actually a reality. So you helped put together, or you spoke at the Power Voice event. So, and you actually were part of the person that really helped organize a lot of that as well. So, Tamara actually did a workshop on writing a book. So, explain to a little bit about what you did. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Woo. Mm-hmm. 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 And I like the example that you showed your cover of your book versus the other covers that aren't quite that are look self-published. You can self-publish, but you don't have to look self-published. So, what's the name of your book too, Tamara, so that people can actually purchase your book? Ah. Mm-hmm. Right, your life, relationship, and your career. That's like it's all your fault. It was all Mama's fault. So every week, Right. Something, it was always someone else's fault. So every week you're doing a podcast or you're doing a video. And so where do you get the questions for your, I guess you say you're giving advice. So every week people are submitting questions, or you're just looking for, look at my face here. You're just looking for, so every week people are sending you questions, or you just basically like look on Facebook and say, you know what, this needs a video. And so you do this every week. Now, I know you're known as activation. Some people can't do anything on a consistent basis. So how long have you been doing these weekly videos? Because they're not just videos like, okay, I'm just going to jump up and do a video. They're actually, you've got editing with it. Explain the whole process. Because some people may commend you just on doing that. I mean, they're good. Right. Cool. I love it. I wanted you to tell them that is so cool. And I want them to follow you on Instagram, which you're on. Follow you on Twitter. And it's I am Tamara. On Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook? Or just Tamara Hartley on Facebook? Okay, so she has got that brand. I love it. And that is this is thank you for being on our first show, because this is the thing that Miles and I, we talked about it. We had the Speakers Magazine. It's like, we know we want to have the speakers speak. We want them to be on a podcast. We want them to be on a show. We want them to talk. But it's just about being consistent. I don't want to start it and stop it and start it and stop it. So being consistent is really the key, and really making it so that all of the speakers who are in the magazine, I then, because they are in here, I know their bios and I know what they talk about, and so I have them all on. So it's, in a way, it's kind of like repurposing content in the same way. Tell people to go to our website, speakersmagazine.net, can see their videos. You can actually now hear them speaking in a real live interview. So that's one of the main things, is being consistent, and it has to be something that works and is easy. So doing a monthly magazine, definitely you have deadlines. Doing a weekly podcast, now we added something else to it. But if it's not consistent, it doesn't matter. And so one of the main things is that you want to make sure that it's top quality, which Miles does, make sure it's top quality, and making sure that it's something that you can stick to and commit to. So if I'm not here on a Wednesday at noon, right. Thank you. You know, it was one of the things too that a long time ago we were talking about our previous careers. Everybody wanted to write a book. Everybody wanted to just really write a book and that sort of thing. And so people were writing books, but we found the best way to write a book was to speak. So now everybody wants to speak. There's still authors and speakers. They're all in the same. But I saw that there was a hole that, okay, if you do want to speak, these are the things that you need for your brand. If you do want to write a book, these are the things that you need for your book. And people aren't really familiar with it. They see the outside project. It's like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can get on the stage. Or I see that book, I can write that book. But we know behind the scenes, there's so much more that's involved in that. So kind of explain, because you're a brand person as well, kind of explain a little bit about the necessities, what every speaker would need. What every speaker would need for if they're going to build a platform like a Les Brown, because of course, you know, everybody wants to be like Les, right? It's like, how do I do that? Now, Les started before there was social media, but he's 70-something years old, and he's embraced and grasped a lot of this information. He'll get on Facebook Live, and he'll start doing he's on Instagram. I mean, you know, you're not going to leave Les behind. So kind of explain some basic things that speakers need that you know from going to that conference of Power Voice, what they are missing or what they need. Mm-hmm. 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 And when you say blogging, a lot of people are even scared to blog. It's like, oh my God, I've got a blog. It's like, but blog is basically, it doesn't have to be 1,000 words. I mean, I did a blog yesterday, and it was only 300 words. And basically, the blog was like how to pitch the media, okay? And I gave 3 tips. And so a lot of times people, you think you need to write a lot, people don't even want to read a lot. So make it in points, make it in bullets. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Okay. Right. Right. And this podcast is an hour. It's because I want to do a more deeper dive than just the digest of the Speakers Magazine. So I wanted people to actually hear the heart of each speaker that we feature. And so 20 minutes, half an hour, you know, listen to the podcast. Tamara gave you some great tips about how to really repurpose content, how to write a book. She gave you some great tips on how to just really, how her videos are. If you have a question or how to do anything, you know where to go, because she will answer it on her video every single week, 52 weeks a year. It'll be coming up 52 weeks in November. So she is the how-to person. And so, and a lot of times people say, well, I can go to Google and I can find out, but she does the research a little bit more than a deeper dive on just going to Google. She actually explains it so that you can activate it. Because a lot of times we Google stuff, but we don't activate it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure that next time I do this podcast, and I'm going to put my Miles, should I put it on airplane mode? So that way we can make sure that we're not getting missed calls in between. But Tamara, I just appreciate you so much. This has been a really, really good time for us to be together. You're coming from Columbus, Ohio. Tell us what you have coming up in terms of any kind of, besides the online things that you're doing every week, where we can actually see you live in person. Next. Oh my God, that was years ago, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Ah, okay, yes. That is cool. Now, I want you to put on your calendar for August to come to Detroit for the National Association of Black Journalists convention. That's in August. I think it's the 1st through the 3rd. Okay, and I may want you on my panel. This is like putting it out there, putting you on the spot. But I'm doing a panel called Turning Your Content into Cash. And I think you will be perfect for that panel. Okay, I'm going to have AJ Williams on. Well, then I put you on blast, put you on live. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay. But it was just because I've seen you present and you give such good information. And AJ Williams, who's with the Michigan Chronicle, she will be part of the panel as well. And okay, see, there you go. It's all God and it's all good. So that's it. So August 1st. Yes. Yes. And then everybody's coming under the banner of the Black Journalists. You got Vicki Thomas here, and you've got all the folks from Detroit News and Georgette Johnson. So, you know, Miles actually did the logo for the NABJ Detroit Convention. If you see the little record, it looks like a Motown thing or whatever. But Miles actually did that logo that they're using on. It'll be on the T-shirts, mugs, ink pens, and everything. So yeah, so we all try to keep it all in the family. Yep. And so Miles actually does Speakers Magazine. So he's actually he's doing everything. He's actually the producer too on the show. So he's a little bit of Jamaican. You got a bunch of jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
That is good. So, well, Tamara, thank you so much for being on the show, and I'm gonna let you get back to your day, and we will keep in contact because I think we'll be in touch talking about turning your content into cash. Okay. All right. Take care. So that was Tamara Hartley, and then earlier in the show we had Sean Fair as well, and those are our first two featured speakers. So these people that are in the magazine are going to be jumping live off of the page. So we'll maybe next week we'll hear from Brian Thomas, we'll hear from Angela Johnson, we'll hear from this is Tanya Session. I mean, there's so many. Jonathan Presley, Cheryl Wood. Can't forget Cheryl Wood. I mean, so this is Les Brown's son. So stay tuned. This is just the first show, and we've got a lot of speakers that we want to feature. And Miles, you've got to give me the time. How are we on time? We're winding up and we're going good. So I am Pam Perry. I have been your host. I have had a lot of fun today. It went by really, really fast. It is hot in this studio, but I am not complaining because Detroit is one of those towns where we get more snow than we get sun. So I'm just happy about it today. Make sure you go to speakersmagazine.net, download our free gift that we have there for everyone who is a speaker and everyone who wants to be a better speaker. So go to speakersmagazine.net. We are the official magazine of Black Speakers Network. So thank you for joining us. I'm Pam Perry, PamPerryPR.com. All right, bye-bye. All right.
That was great.